Well, good morning. This is our week 3 of our boot camp session, our summer 2016 boot camp session. We have already gone through the first 2 weeks, which is teaching you the skills to bring on meet people, build relationships, and then create some interest. And then when you find some people that are interested in joining us, having us help them get what they want, then they'll become a client. We'll enroll them on our wellness program. And so one of the things what we're going to be talking about today is, now that you've done a well-being interview, you've basically had a conversation of where they are, where they want to be, and the path to get there. And then they said, yes, I want to take that path. I want to go on that with you. Then we would enroll them in the program. And so we're going to talk about what it looks like to enroll them, a couple little fine-tuning things that you want to do regularly to make sure that they get plugged in properly. And then we want to introduce them to one of the cornerstones of our wellness program, which is our community. And so we plug them in and connect them with our mentorship or our coaching community, really. And so they get to meet your mentor coach, maybe for the first time, or it might be an additional time because they may have already met. So as we get started here, we had a situation happens all the time in the world of Zoom and Optavia. And it's where someone, because we are aspiring to be trilliologists and we travel, our jobs are portable, our careers take us different places. And so one of the things that we'll do is we'll need to be on a Zoom, and we're on our phone, and we're either in our car or at a Wi-Fi spot, or we're just out somewhere in the world where we have spotty internet. And so I'm going to demonstrate how to solve that real time as we actually work with Honeybeth to get her plugged in, because she's one of our presenters today. And so just a little bit of perspective on your cell phone, or your computer for that matter, but we're just going to talk about cell phone. You have essentially 2 types of radios. Okay, and a radio is just a way that you can listen and communicate through. Your cell phone has one radio that is communicates over the cellular towers, right? So that's like your Verizon account or your T-Mobile or Sprint or whatever you might have. And then there's another type of radio that's called Wi-Fi. And so Wi-Fi, you need to be close to what we call a hotspot or an access point. So most of you have Wi-Fi at your house, but if you get too far away from your home, it disconnects. And then your phone switches over to the other radio, which is your cellular radio. And that often is called LTE or 4G or stuff like that, okay? So there's 2 radios in your phone. Now what will happen is when you're on Zoom, Zoom can't transmit video over there's a radio that only does that can do data through the cellular. So what will happen today is we're going to have Honeybeth on her phone. She's connected to Zoom through Wi-Fi, and you can connect to Zoom through LTE as well. But sometimes it's just not fast enough to keep up. But probably very, very rarely does it happen when you're on a voice call and it gets stuttery like video does. When we're on Zoom, sometimes it's like all of a sudden you have these big pauses and then it catches up and you just have these dropout things. Well, rarely when you're talking on the telephone does that happen. So what we're going to do with Honeybeth this morning is we're going to have her connect her voice over her cell phone connection, which will be nice and clear. And then she's going to do video over the Wi-Fi at the hotel. And so as long as your voice keeps up, the video can get stuttery and it's no problem. But if the voice gets stuttery, it's a deal breaker. Make sense? Hopefully I tried to walk through that as clear and as slow as possible. But so here's the fun thing about this. So you ready, Honey Beth, to walk through this?
I am, absolutely.
Okay. So on your phone, if you're on a phone, you click on the screen and there's a button down in the corner that says more. And when you click on more, you have the option to now don't do this yet because you won't be able to hear me as soon as you hit this button, but you have the ability to disconnect audio. And so that turns off all of the audio. And then on Zoom, you have the ability to go down. You know what? I'm actually going to just pull this up on my telephone right now.
And I actually left Zoom and I came back in on audio. So I called in, so I should be on audio right now.
You are. Yeah. And you can hear your voice very, very nice and clear. Yep.
Perfect.
So, but I want to just give people so even though you did it, which is great, for those of you that haven't done this, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the recording. And so I think this will be a valuable little piece for us all. So when you're in Zoom, if you join a Zoom meeting, like I'll just join a meeting. Let's see here, join a meeting, and I'm just going to type in my meeting number here. There it is. I'm going to just call myself BBB, and I'm going to click don't connect to audio. See how that slider there is turned off? When I'm connecting on my phone, I click don't connect to audio. So I'm going to join. All right, so there you get to see, and this window here comes up. You see that? And it says, to hear others, please join the audio. So if my internet connection is spotty, I'm going to click dial in, right? So dial in, and then this window comes up and it says select a number to dial. I'm going to push that little blue button there. Oh, you want to dial? Yes, dial. And then it tells me, oh, so here's the beauty of doing it this way. It already has all the numbers and the codes and the meeting ID and all that stuff programmed into the phone. So I just click call, and now it goes out to this window here, and now it's going to dial in. So at this point, I can go double click on the bottom screen and go back to Zoom, and then I can close. Now it's connecting me. I'm in a feedback loop here, which is kind of fun. But it's connecting me to the Zoom meeting over a dial-in. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and start over here. I'm going to end the call, go back to Zoom. So let's say that I've already been added. So I'm going to join using internet. So now I'm in the Zoom meeting. Oh, now I'm getting some feedback. That's fun. Let's see here. Well, I can just hear myself. I'm good. Anyway, so what I can do in this situation is I would go down to more, and I'd click disconnect audio. And then now you can see in the bottom left corner, it says join audio. Click the screen, join audio, dial in, and you can go through that whole process again. So you can also find out how to do this by going to zoom.us, and you can search the how-to sections on how to join the audio through a telephone. So now one of the things that happens, Dan Bell, his internet sometimes goes in and out even when he's at home. And so he'll call in on his home landline, and then he'll be on Zoom through his Comcast or Wi-Fi or whatever his internet provider is. So his audio is always clear because his landline's not sketchy like the internet. So and it's a little technical, super useful, especially if you're on a call and you're driving around. Rarely do you drop a cell phone call, but regularly your data gets behind and things get sketchy. And so if you're in your car, I just always connect over the telephone, and then your audio is always good. Any questions about that before we move on? Because I realize that is really technical. Really? Well, maybe it wasn't so technical.
I got one, Craig.
Okay, yeah. Right on.
when you go up on the phone, you need to engage the speaker on the phone.
You can get this, yeah. When you're dialed in on the telephone, you can click on however you want to listen to the call. You can have headphones in, you can click on speaker, or you obviously if you held it up to your head, that would look funny because the camera would be just seeing your ear, so that would look kind of funny. But yeah, I would do speaker or put some headphones in. Yep. I have a Bluetooth headset that I would use, and that's how I would connect over. By the way, if you're looking for a really good Bluetooth headset, Plantronics 5200. 5200. Plantronics 5200. Excellent for noise cancellation, and it's got the best sound. I test all of them because I use Bluetooth all the time because I push my wheelchair with my hands, so I can't hold my phone up to my head. So that's a really good Bluetooth. Anyhow, all right, so Honeybeth has done it. You are on through your telephone, and we can see her video through the Wi-Fi connection at the hotel. Now, another thing, when you're on a cell phone, if you take your phone and you turn it on its side, it ends up showing up full frame. See how she did that? See how that looks different? So those are a couple of little just camera things that help. Anytime you can communicate more clearly, even if it's not just through what you're saying, but through what you're seeing, it helps with what we're doing. Same with you, Lorraine. If you take your phone and you flip it on its side, we'll get a better shot of you and you with us. Yep. See how that changed? Perfect. All right. So we're now that we're into the call a little bit here, what we've done up to this point is I just want to make sure in your minds you have context for the content that we're delivering today. So the first week, we talked about making a list and sorting it, twice, maybe more than twice. But you make a list and you add people to this list, and then you use our acronym SALT, which is S stands for start a conversation, A is for ask questions. Maybe it's SAAAAAALT, right? Keep asking questions. I need to keep reminding myself of that. Actually, I need SAAALLLLLLL and then T, small t, right? Anyway, that's my own stuff. Anyway, so ask lots of questions and listen, and ask lots of questions and listen. And then maybe the last question is, would you like me to give you some ideas on how to move forward in that? And ask for permission. So we salt our list. From that, we'll discover that people have needs, and we've got skills and tools that can help them with those needs. So then we move them into a well-being assessment to organize what they want, and also it allows us to address what they want in a very systematic way. So that's what we did last week. Now your challenge was to do at least 2 well-being assessments. I would love for folks to raise their hand either on Zoom or in the video and come off mute. And let's talk about any breakthroughs that you had by doing well-being assessments with people, actually performing those. Who wants to go first? Come on now, I know you guys did them, hopefully. Yeah, Vonne, go first. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, Frank and I did a well-being assessment on a couple, and it's a friend of Frank's that he actually connected with us through Facebook and wanted to know more about the program, so we did 2 well-being assessments with them together. And they actually did order their meals, but I wanted to say that during that time after we said, well, we know where you're at, we know where you want to be, and now we just need to know when you want to get started. It was just blank. I mean, there was such silence there, and it was really kind of uncomfortable, and I didn't chime in, and finally he said, well, let's just order I'll go ahead and order for us. So I just wanted to know, what do you usually do? I mean, it was kind of uncomfortable, and my husband was, Frank was like, wow, I just don't know about them, why it was so uncomfortable. So I just kind of wanted to explore that a little bit.
Yes, this is so good. Oh man, this is so good. So there's a couple of things that I learned back in when I worked for Apple, and there was a saying. So you brought them to a point of decision. I know you did. You led them right up to it, and you said, "What do you want to do?" And then you were silent. Now, our saying was, when we were in sales, you would do what you just did, and then you would ask them the question, what do you want to do? And the saying was, the person that speaks first buys. And what that meant was, if I was uncomfortable with the silence and I added a little something in, I'm the one that was sold. If they speak first, they're the ones that are sold. So you allowed there to be what you felt was an eternity, right? Oh my goodness,
Right.
why are they waiting? But they're thinking through the equations, and they're connecting the dots, and their brain's just going, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Should I do this? Does this make sense? And you just were patient and let them process. Masterful, on a really good job. And they said, well, let's do it. Right? Excellent example. You did everything exactly right. And that's all we can do, is we can understand what they want. We can tell it back to them so that they know we heard them. You want to go to the beach? Okay, so which beach? You get this all down? Okay, so you want to go to this beach at this time and that. Did I hear you right? Yes. Okay, now here's where you are. Here's where you want to be. We're going to take I-5. We're going to get in my car, and here's how we're going to get you there. Okay, so now I know where you want to go. I know how to get you there. When do you want to start? Right? Throw away the key. Close your mouth. And they're going to say, well, let's go this afternoon, or let's go next week, or I decided I don't want to go, or I don't know what they're going to say. But you know where they want to go. You know how to get them there, and they know where they want to go, and they know how you're going to get them there. And then that's all you can do. The next part is up to them. Give them the right and the respect to make their decisions and decide. So, such a good example. You're a plant, right? Troy and Brian.
No, the thing that was really hard is it felt like pressure. I don't like that. And so it felt pressure. Because he's Frank's friend, he was wondering, if he actually just felt pressure saying something. So that was kind of the thing with Frank. I mean, I have done this before, and where they have to make a decision or they have to speak. And but that was because there was both of us, and then both of them. Frank felt, I wonder if we gave, it was too much pressure. But I don't feel that way. He did more so. But that was like you want to step in and rescue someone when that happened. And I really think they made a good decision, and so we're going with it.
What was their decision to make?
Anyway,
you were saying, I know what you want, and I can help you get there. Do you want to go there? And if you do, when? And then you're like, yes, it's up to you. The ball's in your court now. And you did it. So it maybe felt like pressure, but it was, you just brought them to a point of decision. And that decision could have been one of three things. Yes, but not now. Or maybe later, right?
Right.
And you're fine with it. Joe, you had your hand up. Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Okay. It's really funny. I don't really know how many well-being assessments I've done so far, but I've been doing this since last June. And since the boot camp last week, I copied off the client health assessment, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is new for me. I want to make sure I follow it. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So I ended up calling Rick yesterday afternoon going, oh my gosh, I am so nervous. I don't know why. Because what's going on? He goes, you've done not hundreds, you've done many of them. And you've done well, and you've signed clients up. What's going on? I said, I don't know. It's this worksheet. I said, I just feel like I got to follow it to the T. If I don't do it, I'm not going to sign this client up. I don't know what it is. Anyway, he just talked me through it. He says, run me through what you're going to do. So I did. And I get there, open up the conversation, and I thanked her for coming and actually reaching out to me because I met her at the spring fair. And she actually recontacted me saying she wasn't ready right then, but she would be. And she actually reached out to me. It was awesome. But anyway, I just went through everything. I used the worksheet. And I was taking notes, and I said, I really like to use this worksheet as a tool for me because I really want to get to know my clients. I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you want and where you want to go. Anyway, I did exactly what you said. We went through everything, and the question I asked her after repeating everything back to her, I said, so are you ready to get started and have your order? And are you ready to have your program in 7 days? And she says, let's do it. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know why the apprehension of this little worksheet. It's a great tool, but it really helped me stay on task instead of going here and here and here and here. So
yeah, and that's the worksheet from that's the worksheet from Simple Systems, right? That has you
the client health assessment.
Yep, it's great.
And it walked me all the way through the end of getting her credit card information to boom, let's wrap this up. So
perfect. Way to go. And you're not forcing. I'm not saying I really think you should do this. You better do this. We're not. That's pressure.
And I think I was just adding pressure to myself.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily, but it was good to do the tool. It was good to have that tool.
Good job.
That's what I love about this group, having all the tools that you guys give us.
Yeah, it's great. Well, way to practice, because tools in a toolbox don't do nothing. Tools in your hand get something built. Way to go.
Thank you.
Yep. Eileen, you had your hand up. I'll unmute you. Go ahead, Eileen. Hi.
I wanted to say something to, is it Bonnie that was saying?
Bonnie, yeah.
Nervous or, they felt like they were pressuring them. I know exactly how she feels because there's that awkward silence. But, like you were saying, you kind of answered it, was that people really are not going to do what they don't want to do. And so they probably needed that little push. And, if you want to think of it that way, but I think people are going to do in the end what they want to do. So it was a moment of decision, and that's why they were hesitating. And I was going to say on mine, I interviewed an old friend that I've known for many years, and it's funny how the well-being assessment is just their assessment of themselves, and whether you think it's right or wrong, that's their opinion. I'll give you an example for her, and it's not a put down on anybody, but she, as far as I know, she's not a believer. But when it got to the spiritual part, she gave herself a 10. It was amazing how the points that she gave herself was amazing. At the end of the interview, I was thinking I have so much more to attain, because in her mind, she's healthy. She's at a healthy weight. She says she needs maybe to lose another 5 pounds. She gave herself a 10 in the weight and category, and then the spiritual. And when I talked to my husband afterwards, my husband's not a believer, and he says I would give myself a 10 because I am a very spiritual person. I'm kind, and these people are very kind people. I have, I may be a believer, but I don't practice what maybe they are practicing. They're very kind to people. they don't say mean things. I say mean things sometimes. So, so it's all a perspective I'm learning of that person's well-being assessment.
Mm-hmm.
She thought she was financially abundant. And here, I've known her for years, and my husband's always like, no, don't ask for her for anything. Don't even think of offering this program to her because she's so poor.
Mm.
She thinks she's abundant.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
great.
I'm just learning.
Yep. These are really good awarenesses, because what Eileen said was really powerful. We're not telling them what we think their numbers are. They're telling us. And then we're just making sure we understand. So this really is autonomy supportive. We're letting them assess their lives, and we're not placing judgment as to what we think. If they're at a 10 in spirituality, I mean, sometimes when people are a 10 in spirituality, or a 10 in abundance, or a 10 in most relationships, I go, tell me, maybe I can learn a little bit from them. Tell me about that. It's not always necessarily just about what needs to improve. Tell me.
Craig, that's what I want to say. One last thing is that she had 10s in almost everything. And I said, tell me, like you just said, tell me about it, because I want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her affirmation. I
Mm-hmm.
said, you're amazing, and I need to learn more from you.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Perfect. Great stuff. Well, for time's sake, we're going to jump into the training. So we've got a couple of people that have been part of our boot camps leading up to this point. And so we've got Honey Beth and we've got Karen Booth are going to be doing some our training today. And so we've worked with them. They've been working on this skill. They've obviously brought on many clients. And so Honey Beth is going to come up first, and she's going to walk us through. So in our minds, where we're at is someone has just said yes. And then Honey Beth has, you're going to want to have your pen and paper out. She has what we call new client processing. So it's where they've said yes, and we want to make sure that they're in our address book, and they're in this place, and they're in that place, and we did this, and we sent them that. So there's these like 5 or 6 things that you can do with everybody to make sure they're connected in all the places to be connected in. And then we're going to do an example where we're going to do a live, go through the script. And so you want to make sure that you go to the Facebook group if you haven't. And I'm just going to jump over there to show you where to get the resources. At the top of the document in our bootcamp page, there's this thing called archives. And if you click on that, you have week 1, week 2, week 3. Well, there's the new client meet and greet script, and there's a document there. If you click that, it will bring up the document that we're going to be talking from. And so one of the things to be sure is once they say at the time of transaction, all this happens before you get your mentor on the call. And then the interview is everything down from here below. I just want to make sure you guys have that as mine. So welcome, Honey Beth. And so tell us a little bit about how you process a client and how you go through this process.
Great. Thanks, Craig. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday morning. There are 8 things that I just wanted to go over. It may sound long, but it's not. Just quick bullet points of things that you can do when you process your client. The first one, I always want to make sure that I have a well-being tracker done for every client. This is usually done beforehand when we're going over the interview, the evaluation, that thing. But if that doesn't happen, make sure that you have a well-being tracker. Second, you want to place their first order. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing, this is one of the most important things, is that we want to make sure I always do my intro with my mentor and my new client. I do that through a Facebook chat, usually, a 3-way Facebook chat, or if they are not on Facebook, I, of course, encourage them, but text, 3-way text at least. But that's the third thing, is make sure I introduce them to my mentor. And through that chat, that's when we schedule the meet and greet. The fourth thing is that I want to send them their welcome document. You can get this link in Simple Systems and send it through a separate chat or through an email, however you decide to do that. The fifth thing is to add them and welcome them to our Facebook community. So I always want to make sure that they know where that is and are welcomed, and making sure that they see where all the cool stuff is happening in our online community.
And Honey Beth, you have to make sure you're friends with them in order to add them there. So that's maybe an assumption that you are already friends.
Exactly. So if you are not friends with them, send them a friend request, and then add them to the Facebook group. And the sixth thing that I do is I add them to my current client list. So you may have an email group that you put this in. I use Finduit. I add them to my current client list in Finduit. So just whatever you do to keep up with an email listing of your current clients, make sure you add them to that. The seventh thing I do is I put them on my map. So I always want to make sure that my map is real time, working with it every day. So put them on there. And then the last thing is that I want to add them into the contacts on my phone. I want to make sure that I have their email address and their cell phone number in my phone. So those are the 8 things that I go through, and I will put that information in the chat so everybody can see that. But that's how and Craig did it for me, so perfect. Thank you, Craig. And that's what I do for processing a client.
Yeah, and you want to thank you so much for that. So if you guys, we will post those things in the Facebook group too, because if you didn't get it or you don't see the chat later. One of the things with Zoom you can do is down under where it says more in the chat, you can say save chat, and that saves the transcripts of the chats on your Zoom to your computer locally. So that's sometimes fun if you wanted to go back and look at those later.
Never knew that.
Yeah, so those are fun things. I don't know if you can do it on your phone. I know you can do it on a computer though. Anyway, so let's go through and walk through that. So you've got Brian, or who are your folks that will have? Who are your folks that we're going to do the script with, the new client meet and greet with today? Did you have a couple people in mind?
So I believe we were using Karen.
Great.
Is she on?
She is.
Can't see.
Yep, she's.
And then, so Karen will be the coach. We need someone as a client. Were we going to use Brian for that? Brian Jollinger.
Brian, he can be a client. I think he can remember back to those names. All right.
So Brian and Karen, is everybody unmuted?
Yep, I think so. So here's the screen.
Did Karen have a client that was going to?
She's going to come on. Yeah, she's going to do another example with an actual client. Yeah, so we're going to do 2 of these. Yep. So here's the new client meet and greet. So basically, Brian's the client. Honey Beth, you are the mentor coach?
Yes.
Mentor coach. And Karen is going to be the coach. So Karen would have already done all this stuff up here. She would have already talked about congratulating them for joining the program. She's going to layer on the fact that, we do have a coaching program and we have a referral program. And then Karen would then call Honey Beth, and then Karen's going to introduce Honey Beth to Brian. All right?
That's fine, as long as I'm the coach on both scenarios, because
Yes.
Because I'll be the coach with my active client that I'm bringing in.
Yep, exactly it. All right. So you guys just you just pretend like you're calling each other and just go through your thing so we can hear this live in real time. Do you want me to keep that script up in front of us so that you can see it? Is that helpful?
I've got my.
Well, Craig, where's my script for being a client?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I need my script.
All right, Karen, why don't you go ahead and take it away and introduce us?
Okay. Honey Beth, I'd like you to meet a client that I just signed up. His name is Brian, and Honey Beth is a great mentor for me. We've known each other for a while, so I just want to tell you that she knows our program and she's there as part of our community. So It's a wonderful time, and I'd like you to meet this person. And so so we've kind of just signed you up. We've got you we've gotten you on the program, Brian, as a client, and so we've got your food ordered. So I wanted you to meet my mentor here. So this is Honey Beth.
Right.
Brian, I'm so glad to meet you and to hear that your health program is on the way. It's going to be wonderful. So can you tell me a little bit why you've chosen to partner with Karen and what you hope to accomplish?
Well, I've known Karen for a while and knew that she was a coach. And after gaining a few pounds, I decided I wanted to get on the program that she was offering, because I feel like I need to lose some weight, because I don't feel very healthy. I don't have a lot of energy, and just want to have more energy, want to feel better. Not very active right now, so I'm really wanting to get back into that. And I think this weight issue has just been, on my mind, so I'd love to lose a little bit of weight, and just knowing that Karen has helped so many people out. That's good. But just excited about changing things, changing some of the things that I've been doing, just so I can feel better.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I hear that you want more energy, you want to feel better, you want to be more active. What are you going to do when you get more active? What is it that you're looking forward to being able to do?
Well, I got a lot of kids, so I want to make sure that I'm active for them, because they just run circles around me right now. So I just want to feel better, so I can be a little bit more mobile with them, so I can keep up with them.
I love that. Yes. So having that energy and being able to keep up with those kids, I love that. I've got news for you. You are definitely going to be able to do that. Karen is an incredible coach. You are in great hands with her, and just stick tight to her. And we are going to see some incredible changes. Actually, after the first week or so, you should really feel some wonderful changes. I'd really like to connect again when you lose your first 5 pounds, definitely within the first week. And so then I'll have Karen set up another meeting so we can celebrate you. Does that sound okay?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I just wanted to check with you, Brian, are you on Facebook at all? So
I think we're friends. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to set up a 3-way Facebook message very shortly after you lose that 5 pounds, and you guys will be able to meet again. So does that sound good?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right.
Hey, I might even do something with this coaching thing. I don't know. That sounds kind of fun.
It is. It's wonderful. Well, we'd love to have you part of our community.
Nice. I think you'd make a great coach, Brian.
I don't know.
Talk to enough people. So it's this whole thing. So thank you guys, by the way. Good job with that. And one of the things this whole call, it should be literally 5 minutes. It's just a quick sort of introduction. It's light. It does not have to be on Zoom. You can use the old telephone in this situation, right? And just get them on quickly. Sometimes it's nice to do it right away. If you know there's a good likelihood that they're going to say yes and you're going to get credit card and do all that, then you can actually sort of have your mentor coach sort of tentatively available. But that's not necessary. But you want to do that right away. And literally keep this super quick. It's just sort of an intro to our community. It's light, it's fresh, it's simple. And so, yeah, so that's the call there. Now, thank you, Honey Beth, for your the work you did and just modeling that for us.
Hey, Craig.
Yes, sir.
I just want to mention that, I think this is, even though it's quick and simple and, I think it's very, very important. Like, I mean,
oh, it's critical.
I wish I had done this, with when I started having this, because you introduce them to somebody right away, and that's, that can start the process. So
we say our community is very valuable, but then how do we actually show them the community, right? And this is one of those really practical ways. There's a couple things that happens in this process. First of all, they know, Brian knew that not just Honeybeth was going to be there, or not just Karen was going to be there. She has multiple levels, or he had multiple levels of support, right? You have your coach, and then you have this other person out there that now knows about your dreams and goals and is there to support you. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, right? And so it's like, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more like this is real. I've got more.
It also puts more value on the program.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You had a whole nother person involved, right? So super valuable, super great. And so there was a couple things that I talked when I was setting up this with Karen, that she ran into a couple of challenges, and I wanted her to talk through a little bit of this. I wish all of you could have been scheduled to do the training today, because all of a sudden it becomes real, really quick. Right, Karen?
Yeah, yesterday when I get a call I actually got a text from Brian and asked if I'd do the training, and I actually thought that he sent it to the wrong person. I thought it was supposed to mean that, I thought that he had sent it to Troy, and I wrote him back and I said, I think you meant this for someone else. And he said, no, I meant this for you. So then when I got on the call with Craig and Troy and Brian and Honey Beth about doing this, they pull up that I'm to do the meet and greet. And that, I mean, of all the things I would have been most comfortable with, this was the least. So I said, are you sure that you want me to do this? And they said, yes. So Craig challenged me about my fear, and I'm a professional and all those things. And so I said, okay, I will get out of my comfort zone, because this was not. So then yesterday they'd all said they'd practice with me. Well, no one was available. So I got hold of Troy, Brian was, and we had a scheduled call with my client at 6 to do this. And she knew it was kind of a training with me and all that. So that was all good, but I was trying to do a practice with Troy or Craig ahead of time. It wouldn't happen. So he suggested I call Rick. I did call Rick, and I had my sister backing me up, doing kind of a mock call. And I froze. I literally froze looking at this script. It was like, this script? I don't want to use this script. And I was so ill. I just literally froze looking at this thing. And so I know what the lady was saying earlier about the uncomfortable with it. And then Rick did it. I told him, I said, Rick, I'm frozen. Fortunately, it was my sister on the other line who is a client. And he just took over ad-lib. He showed me how to, it was like, what am I so worried about? I do this all the time. It's just staring at this piece of paper that's got me frozen. And so when I heard Rick do it, when I got on with Brian, it's like, I can do this. And I did this. And with Brian, it went really well. We had a great time with my client. I introduced her. And she was agreeable. She's interested in being a coach. She was agreeable to come on the call. I thought I was supposed to have a client for the call. That's how.
For today. So we have her client that's going to go through this with us real time today. Like, how cool is that?
So I arranged for my client to be available this morning to come on to do this, because she is a client. And I want to introduce her. And then at the end, everyone makes sure they say hi to her, because she's interested in being a coach, and she'll know she's got a community of 32 people.
So is she there? Is she on?
I told her I'd push the button, the text now to her when we were
Okay.
ready.
Awesome. So
I had to adapt that too, because we were going to do it at 7:35, right?
yeah, so Karen is, I don't know if you realize, but she's just a little bit bigger. She just grew a ton this morning, right? Rowan, what's up, Karen?
No, and I've been a coach a long time, but it's been very old school coach.
Yeah. We're all still learning,
I don't mean
Karen.
that in a bad way. I just mean I have a ton of things to relearn in a way that's a more really coaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
we all are learning, by the way, Karen. Every one of us is. So keep learning and keep growing. It looks good on you, by the way.
Craig?
Yeah.
Can I share something while we're waiting for her client
Karen,
to get on?
Yeah. Karen, you can get her on board and go ahead.
Yeah, she just should be calling. She's
okay. So with these introductions, what's really cool is when you bring on a new coach, and your new coach is doing well-being evaluations with their potential clients. I have done this recently, and I am on those well-being evaluations with my new coach because they don't know exactly how to do it yet. So we're already in a three-way communication with a brand new coach. And so the introduction is kind of done at the beginning, and it's so organic. The relationship that happens between the three of us is amazing. And not only can we get them through their first week together and have a celebration, but it is so easy to talk about coaching and planting seeds and all that possibility because we've been in communication ever since the get-go before they were a client. So that's exciting when you do this whole process with a brand new health coach.
Yeah, it's not one of those weird things. It's actually like really useful. It's the thing we say it is, right? It really is.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
I have a quick question before she gets on. Brian, are you going to be the mentor coach, or is somebody else going to be the mentor coach? I don't know if Brian's there.
Yeah, Honey Beth, you can bring her. She's obviously going to be the client. Perfect. And why don't you you can be the mentor coach or the coach. Why don't you be the coach? And how about Honey Beth is the mentor coach on this one? Would that be fine?
Good.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm waiting for her to call.
Okay.
So,
sounds good.
And if not, I may just call her if she can't get on. I've sent her the number and
she was in earlier, I think. Yeah, if she can't do it, we'll just for time's sake, we'll go on it.
We got to do that. So
pop in with someone else. Yep.
Let me call her real quick.
Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roll with this. Actually, you know what, Karen? Don't.
Okay.
Let's just do it when anybody can be the client. That's the easiest part.
Pauline.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah.
So she gets her on board there. I wonder if she can actually just have her on speakerphone. That might just work fine.
Yeah.
You just want to keep her on speakerphone, Karen?
I'm going to do. Pauline, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can anybody hear her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear Pauline?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll try this because I don't know if you called in, but I didn't want you to hold up any longer here. So Pauline, this is, we just signed you up as we talked yesterday, and I introduced you to Brian yesterday, but I'm going to introduce you to another person that's actually I work with that's awesome, and her name is Honey Beth, and she is also a fantastic part of our community that I wanted you to meet. And you've just gotten your order, your order's on the way. And so we're getting ready to have you get started. So I wanted to introduce you to Honey Beth. Honey Beth, this is Pauline. Her name is Pauline Brown. And she has been working for almost 6 months. I think we talked back in January to get enough funds to pull together an order. That is how determined she is. She's also interested at some point in possibly coaching. but I wanted you to meet her for the first time. So Pauline, what I want you to know is you've got a great community here that's already in your corner. And this is Honey Beth. You met Brian yesterday.
Oh, good morning, Honey Beth. This is glad to meet you.
Pauline, I am so excited to meet you and to hear that your health program is on the way. That is wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're most excited about and what you're hoping to accomplish with your health goals?
Oh, yes. It's so, well, number one, I'm a diabetic and I'm changing my lifestyle of eating, trying my utmost best to get off all my insulin and medication and lose some weight. But even more than that, with the lifestyle change, I want to help other people. So I'm also putting a project together to help our Native American people with diabetes.
Wow, that is amazing. You just gave me chills when I heard you say that. I mean, it's to be a diabetic and to really want to learn how to live a healthy lifestyle and then implement it so that you can help others around you. I can tell you that you are in fabulous hands and you're in the right place. Pauline, Karen is an incredibly gifted coach, and she is going to guide you through all of this. I think one of the biggest things you're going to enjoy is the education component that Karen will guide you through to really help you help others. And we can set you up. We're going to help you understand how to get yourself healthy. And then we are excited about you even considering partnering with us to help others. So yay for you.
Thank you.
So exciting. Well, I really would love to connect with you after you lose your first 5 pounds or so, probably after the first week. So is it okay if we set up another meeting in about a week to celebrate with you? How does that sound?
Well, let's see, in a week. That sounds wonderful. Like, only thing is my husband and I are traveling. We're going to be on the road to Winnebago, Nebraska, and we'll be there for about a week and a half. So communication isn't too good on the reservation.
No.
Well, we can schedule it for a time that will work well for you. So we'll just use, we can use a Facebook chat or so and just make sure that we stay connected. But I'm really excited for you, and thank you for letting us be on this journey with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited. Been praying about it, working toward it. So, and I know Karen is a wonderful person. I'll be meeting her up there as well in Winnebago.
We're going to meet at Powwow in Winnebago. And by the way, there's about 32 people on this call that are part of the community, and we should all have them come to Powwow in Winnebago, huh?
An experience never forget.
Okay, yeah, Pauline and I will meet for the first time. I know her husband from growing up.
That's awesome. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and we look forward to hearing about your success.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. We will definitely stay in touch.
And thanks, Pauline, for being on hold, waiting for us. Appreciate it. We're all learning together.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you, Karen, and we'll be in touch soon.
Okay, bye now.
Bye now.
Good job. Boy, that was awesome. That was real. Like, that was real deal, right? You never know what they're going to say or where they're going to go. Oh, so good.
That was so cool.
Oh. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that next time because we haven't done that. That was a nice addition.
I thought when Craig said, well, we were supposed to do it together, I said, I arranged for a client. I thought I was supposed to have a client on with me. So
I loved it. You just improved the training like a ton because there's nothing like the real thing. And there it was. She threw a curveball in there. Well, I'm going to be out on the reservation. And she threw a little nugget in there that I want to help the community of Native Americans that have diabetes. Nice little cue there. Make sure you mark that one down because you didn't tell her, I want you to help your community. She said organically that she has a desire to do that. So we're not trying to convince people to be coaches that don't want to, but we sure want to allow and facilitate the ones that do want to help others, that they can use this program to do it. So great job, Karen.
And I think one of the things that's you know, powerful about that for me is that this lady has, I mean, her story has been that I talked to her back in Christmas, and she's just now been able to get the money for her first order.
Wow.
So that is like really commitment.
Yep. Thank you. So great example. Awesome job. We're going to be practicing these with each other. Let's practice this. This is like playing basketball. This is like dribbling the ball. It should be so second nature that you just do it. It's easy. Now it does take some setup. One of the contingencies here is, what if the mentor coach that you're going through hasn't seen the script or doesn't know about the script? That was one thing with Brian. This is a newer script that we've worked on. And so Karen made sure that Brian had that when they did the call. So now Brian has the script and he's versed in it. Do you know how powerful it is for Brian to have the script? I mean, he has like just a couple of coaches that he can probably use this with, right? And now he's like a resource and he's skilled in this. Now I know that Brian knew these things, but to know them in the format and to use them this very intentional way, now we have access to this for everybody. So,
hey, Craig.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, I got my daughter here.
Yes.
I had to leave for a minute, but you know, it is real life. I love what you said about the real life thing. You know, and life gets in the way sometimes. There's things that happen, like you know, and we just deal with things. But when I got on the call with her, you know, I had the script in front of me. I didn't know the script. I've done this obviously for a while, but I didn't know exactly. She wanted me to do exactly the script said. And so I did it. And it's uncomfortable for me. See, I mean, it's like everyone's like, oh, so uncomfortable. Duh. Really? I've been comfortable with everything I do.
Yeah. Right.
You know, that's how we grow. And if we don't do it and continually do it, I mean, we get better each time. And, you know, if we get distractions,
that happened.
Okay, too. I was congratulating a new presidential in our group, and her voicemail came on, and I could hear her daughter in the background on her voicemail. I'm like, keeping it real. People have, you know, real lives. Things happen. People understand. People can relate even better if you screw up. Because if you screw up, you know, then they go, well, if he can do it, I can do it, you know? Mm-hmm. I guess why I've been so successful. So anyway.
Terry says that all the time too. So funny. So anyway. Comments? Who has a comment about just an observation, maybe an aha that you had? We just got a couple minutes for one or two, and then we'll send you off on your Saturday. Anybody have any observations you want to share? Quickly unmute and get on it.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
One thing is, if you get a text that asks you to do this, do it.
So good, right there.
Because it forced me to grow. It forced me to stretch outside of what I am used to doing. It also made me dig a little deeper. Mm-hmm. With you know, doing whatever I'm doing, and seeing the importance of the system, which is easy to you know, wing. I'm a wing it. Mm-hmm. I really am. I always have, like, I do best if I wing it. Mm. Well, there's an element of that's okay, but there's another element of that with a system and a structure that helps you to stay within it. Winging it within a structure mm-hmm. is probably the best way to go. And that's where a lot of times I have just kind of veered in a lot of ways with what I do. Not that isn't good, but that's
question for you, Karen. On the script here, after you've seen it done and done it, does it seem that scary now?
No.
It's really quite simple. Hi, I want to know you. Want to know what you did. I want to say I'm here to support you, and you edify the coach. I'm out. I mean, that's it.
But I think what's so critical is that right away it gets you, introduced to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this simple 5-minute conversation accomplishes some really, really necessary pieces for them to be successful long term. It really does.
I think that's one of the things that I have not done. I look at all of the clients that I currently have. There's hardly anybody tapped into. I mean, I've introduced them to Brian, but I haven't introduced them to the full community of calls and things that would really be benefiting them a lot more. I mean, it's that it breaks down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Honey Beth. Thank you, Karen, for your preparation. Thank you for doing something hard. You got big, strong muscles today. They're a little bit bigger. Way to go. So hopefully this will be an example for all of you, because everything that happened was real. When we talked to Karen, I think you got the wrong person, right? Somebody asked you to do something hard. You got the wrong guy. No.
They told me the one we were doing. I said, this is the one I feel comfortable with the well-being evaluation. Can I do that?
No, that was last week. So think about that when you come to your own challenge and you come to that concept in your mind where you're afraid. Maybe you can be encouraged to just trust and just follow in Karen's footsteps. She did it scared. And it turned out it was not as scary. And it was actually, this is really fun and really good. And so I want to challenge you guys with that. If it's not scary, then you're not growing, right? So if you want to grow, do a little scary stuff, but do the scary stuff with some people that know it. That's why you plug in your mentor. When you're walking down a trail that has just a ledge on the side, but you're going on that trail with a guide, it might be scary, but you got somebody that's been there. That's why we have mentorship. So do scary stuff with people, with support. And hopefully you're getting that from here. So on Tuesday, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., we are going to practice this together. But if you guys want, you can do scary stuff today. I dare you, right? You can walk through this why don't you get one of your kids, tell them to be the client, and then you can get your spouse and give them the scripts and then just go through it, right? Do a couple of those. I don't know. Figure it out. Maybe you call your mentor and you call one of your clients and you just get after it. Hey, can I practice? Can I practice with you? I want to grow. This is like going to do exercise. Do you want to go walking with me? Let's go do some exercise together. Let's grow. So I want to encourage you guys with these things. Let's keep it simple. Let's follow the structure, and this really does work. So thank you guys for your attention today. We'll hopefully see you Tuesday, either on the AM or the PM or both. Talk to you then.